Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between and beyond, welcome to our stream number 140 on the 14th of December 2022. I heartily welcome you all to our stream. It was an interesting week, and this week is not over yet. We have plenty to do in the future. Big plans, as I always say. And the plans are getting real step by step, one day after another. But first of all, friends, I hope you're doing just great. How are you feeling? What are you doing? Are you still working or are you at home? Are you just going to work or returning in happiness? What are the plans for today? Some may ask. And I'm gonna say, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I definitely would like to do some Geoguessr. Our official sponsorship with Rise of Kingdoms is more or less over. We don't have to stream it anymore. But actually it would be great if we're going to achieve a little bit more of levels, because every level is going to be, or to be more precise, every 3 levels at the moment are going to be a support for our channel. So first of all, thank you everyone who has joined our kingdoms. We have already at least 4 people who did the unbelievable and used our link to support our channel. That is awesome. And this is going to be something that is going to pay off, if I may say, in future at least. As I said, I'm trying to think about a system which will give us the opportunity to take the money that we receive in a way and give something back, right? This is the idea, and this is something that we're going to implement, I hope, sooner than later. But in any case, what do you think, friends? Shall we start with a little bit of Geoguessr for the beginning? A little bit of Geoguessr, maybe together with Rise of Kingdom as well, because I would really appreciate if we're going to find a little bit more people. But mainly, we're going to do that most just as side things. So I think we're going back to our geoguessing for the moment. And of course, geoguessing is not going to be the end as well, right? This is just the beginning. As I said, almost a year ago, actually. It's probably even a year ago, or maybe more. We have big plans, and all that project is just at the very, very beginning of everything. So let's go on, step by step. Everything is gonna be possible, right? Alright, so then. How about some geoguessing? Are you ready, friends? Are you ready? Does someone know how reklama is written in Russian? Like advertisement? I wanted to improve something that we have written before. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Because I want to be on the safe side about the legal aspects of everything that we're showing. In Germany, it's not so easy sometimes. Hello there.
Chopik 111 is now following.
Chopik, hello. Great to see you here. How are you doing? Awesome that you're here with us together, getting better, right? I don't know if you want to ride with us or not, but it would be awesome to know. You're Levi, Hello there. Hello there. Livy, how are you doing? Long time no see. What do you think about my long hair? Long hair, very long hair. Almost like a barbarian. How are you doing? And thank you very much. I heard that you have supported our game as well. Yeah, hype. Wally is there as well. Hello, Wally. Great to see you here. How are you feeling? How are you feeling, guys? Just at the beginning of the stream and right away, there you are. So, Livy, how do you like the game so far? Have you played already some Rise of Kingdoms, as I heard? You did not get a notification? Yeah, this is a problem, right? Somehow the notification is not working very often. Also, the other people are saying that. That's very strange. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not working. But then more, I'm happy that you are now here with us. So what do you think? Shall we do a little bit of or maybe if no one is here yet. Oh, even you choose to get just my notifications? Oh, that's good. That's exactly the notification everyone should get, right? Alright, what do you think? Maybe we should start then with a little bit of Rise of Kingdoms. I have prepared it as well. I'm not sure if it's going to work now. Because it's not. That's interesting, by the way. So every time when I'm in the game, it's not working. So let us upgrade a little bit our city, and then we are going over to Geoguessr. Because maybe Levi wants to see something of that. So we have a lot of things to gather from the day before. We're going to do that, and after that, fast, right away, we're going to do some geoguessing. So I think this is the plan for the day. Just upgrading here a little bit in a very fast, professional way, right? We are very good already. So what do we need to upgrade? This is what we're going to focus on. All right, this is what we are going to upgrade. And the other thing is the Alliance Center. All right. Here we go. So this is what we are going to do. So just 5 minutes maybe. Going to build everything. And saying to research something. Something researched. If it's possible at all. Alright. Okay, friends. That was Rise of Kingdom for now. But we are also going to say that we're going to gather some crops here. No, I think we should get, by the way, some logging. Here we are. That's where we're going. Let's go. All right. So now we are going back to Geoguessr. All right, friends. Here we go. This is how we are going to do it today. So, what do you think? Shall we start with a little bit of famous places? I think famous places would be cool. Famous places. Here we go. Let's do them famous places. Oh, by the way, everyone who wants to get some giveaways in the game in a way, type in play ROK K4 PC and you can get something. It's not really a sponsored stream. I mean, it is sponsored because we are showing some advertisement, so legally it is, but officially we don't have to stream it anymore. So just for fun. Just for fun, and maybe someone wants to join as well. But everyone who wants to join Geoguessr, here is the link, friends. So we are going on in our tour, getting to know the world a little bit better. Here we go. Famous places. All right, all right. Is that the Notre Dame? The Notre Dame de Paris, as we have learned, probably. Because this is, I think, Paris, not the Notre Dame in Chartres. Paulie, do you recognize this building? Is it this one or the other one that you have built as a 3D puzzle? So, if I remember correctly, the Notre Dame de Paris was built in 1162. I think that is when it was accomplished. And it is, very interestingly, on an island in the river La Seine, right? Or La Seine, I don't know correctly how it's pronounced, but I think it is the Cathedral Notre Dame de Paris, so we're probably somewhere here. I thought it was because of the stream names and Aztec. As I said, officially, we are still able to get some money, right? And also, you can see on the other side. Oh wait, I think on this other side. No, it was the right side. So there, over there, where the Google map is. So here, that we can get some level ups, and so legally it is a sponsored stream, but it's not in a way, because we fulfilled one part of the streaming already. Yep. All right, so I'm quite sure that we're here in Paris. Here we go. Let's check it out. Yes, it was. Almost 8 meters precisely. What I would like to know, if I was correct about the year when it was built. Because I think it was, yeah, 1163. I think this is exactly what I said. But actually, that is when it was started to get built. It was finished in 1345, so 200 years. They built 200 years this cathedral. Wow, that's something. All right, where again? In Paris, oui. Je suis Paris. No. Now I'm talking with French suddenly. We are at the very famous, world famous Louvre. That's where we are. The museum where the Mona Lisa is smiling to us. That music. How's Louvre written actually? Louvre. So that's it. And this is the Mona Lisa, right? By the way, the Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci in 1503 to 1505. 2 years he built this picture. I'm not very a fan of it. I mean, it's cool. But Da Vinci has drawn many more impressive pictures, I would say. So this is exactly where we are, at the museum in Paris. And by the way, I don't know if Dennis may be here with us today. If not, he has written in the chat of the game of Rise of Kingdoms, that he's maybe sick. So then, good wishes of improved health to you from all of us, I'm sure. From all of us. Get better as soon as possible. Don't forget, soon is already the tournament. You have to be on your highest possibilities, right? Would be good. Alright, so... But, what I have to say about the Louvre, I'm forgetting always where it is. It is somewhere at the river. Quite close to the river. Draven! Hello, how are you doing? Long time no see, and interesting smiley there. Hello, how are you doing? You tried to be not on stream about the sponsored streams, right? Am I assuming correctly? I understand. Oh man, I did not choose anything, did I? I was too slow again. But wait, where is it in Paris? I'm forgetting that. It is close to the river. Oh, it is here. Actually very close to Notre Dame as well. Draven writes, I'm fine. How about you? I'm very fine. I'm very fine as well, indeed. Are you someone who was interested in the football, and especially about I'm not sure if you were. Nope. No, okay then. I was thinking that when you were in the chat we were writing about football, because I'm not the one. So Runa, hello there, how are you doing? Runa, are you still trying to be the best in Doom? Because Draven, as you may know or may not know, Runa is going to be participant on Friday. This Friday, don't miss the date. Runa is going to take part in the tournament of Doom Eternal. Right, Runa? Draven writes, I used to watch football in past, especially World Cup, but this year I'm not. Yeah, me neither. I'm not a football fan at all, though I liked the atmosphere about the World Cups, because it's somehow combining people, and people were walking around in Germany. I mean, walking around, watching sports together. It's a cool thing, but usually I don't like football. Yeah, what? But look at this, Draven is already crossing the fingers for you. Wait, Runa writes, I'm okay, currently sick, so that sucks, but still playing Doom. Oh man. I hope you're getting fast better. Strangely, Dan is sick as well, and I have been sick 2 days before, right? The day before yesterday. But somehow I'm feeling a lot better already. So it's like maybe past me a little bit. Draven is not playing Doom Eternal. Runa, what do you think? Maybe you should take a break then and just rest, so that you're going to be better maybe already tomorrow, and especially before the tournament starts. What do you think? By the way, Runa, when is it going to start? And do you have a link maybe to the information about that whole tournament? Would be cool. Oh, you did first play just today after 2 days of rest? Runa will kill them all. Yes, I'm exactly thinking the same as Draven. Oh, I think we are again on Alcatraz. Where is Alcatraz? If that is San Francisco, where is Alcatraz? That were my words the last time when we have been there. And I did not find it. I did not find where Alcatraz is because it's quite small. A quite small island. I was taking a look on that and this. Where is Alcatraz? I did not see that. This obvious little thing here. That was funny. A little bit. Till it was sad because I was not finding it. Maybe somewhere. I don't know, maybe somewhere. Wait, what? I don't understand it. Somewhere here, I don't know. Runa writes no way. What is no way, Runa? Oh, no way that you're going to kill them all? You're going to kill them all. Definitely. Believe it. You have to believe it. We are believing in you. What I can definitely say, you are the best Doom Eternal player in this chat. And on our channel, right? So, this is already cool. So friends, can someone remember when Alcatraz was built? Was it something like 1890? Something? No, 19. Wait, what? Really? No, 18. Oh, it was first just a how those lightning things, lightning houses? Yeah, lighthouse. Was first built there, and then in 1934 it was converted into federal prison. Wait, really? That's just not so long ago, actually, right? 90 years? 82, 88? Oh man, math. You also were there? How? You were there when it was built? Alcatraz? Draven writes, it was prison before, but it changed from military to ordinary one. Oh, wait, you're right. Wait. The island was developed in the 19th century, in the mid-19th century, so 1850, with the facilities of lighthouse and the military fortification and military prison. So I was right, it was 1850 when it became first like a prison, even if it was just a military one. But in 1934, it became a usual prison, for federal penitentiary. Yeah, federal prison. Okay, good to know, and thank you very much, Draven. Thank you that you're pointing that out because I don't want to say wrong things and memorize wrong things. So thank you. That's very good. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, hello. What is this? Okay, some confusion is going on there. Okay, this is Sydney. Sydney, like in Nemo. Okay, Sydney. How is that called, though? The Capella Arca. And I don't know where exactly it is in Sydney. VLCM, I hope it means welcome. Draven writes Hobbit. What do you mean Hobbit? Opera? Hobbit Opera? You mean the browser? Oh, you mean that is a Hobbit? Yeah. Yeah, the opera. The opera, but it has a specific name, or is it just the Sydney main opera or state opera or something? And I don't know where it is. Wait, if you're thinking, it is close to water. somehow. Alright, so maybe it's somewhere. I mean, you have to pass some bridges, at least one. At least one bridge. So many. Sydney Opera House. Oh, that's how it's called. Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Opera House. We're going to get some information about that. I wonder when it was built. Probably in the 1900s, 19 something as well. Well, I don't know where it is. Literally, look at this. How many water places there are. What is going on there? No wonder that Nemo did not find the home the way back. Find the Sydney Harbour Bridge on the coast. The Sydney Harbour Bridge. Sydney Harbour Bridge. Yeah. Sydney Observatory. The Walsh Bay. Sydney Dance Company. Oh, okay, it was here. Really? It's actually right. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say right at the entrance, but Sydney Opera House. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't see it, but now I know it. I mean, it is quite a difficult place here with all the little bays. Oh, no, I wanted to know more about the City Opera House. Sydney Opera House. House and beat. Let's take a look. Languages, where are you? Here they go. Very interesting architecture from inside. It has small rooms and big rooms. Have you been there before? Draven, have you been there? I mean, it looks from the outside as well very nice. Nope, but see the pictures? All right, I'm gonna take a look at that. Oh, there was a theater with the same name, by the way. Okay, this is widely regarded as one of the world's most famous and distinctive buildings and a masterpiece of the 20th century architecture. It is designed by Danish architect Jørgen Utzon, or Utzon, I'm not sure, but completed by an Australian architecture team headed by Peter Hall. The building was formally opened by Queen Elizabeth II on 20th October of 1973. Not that old at all. Somehow I'm always counting from the year 2000. Is that something just me because I'm so old and was born before 2000? So I'm just thinking, yeah, it's about 30 years old. Actually, it's already 2020. It's so crazy. 50 years. Crazy. All right. So it was built for 20 years. Yeah, well, not really. So the work began in 1958. Wow, that is a very long time to build a building and nowadays. And even 1973, isn't it? It's quite a long time. Oh, look at this. Man, this is beautiful. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. The sound there must be also just remarkable. All right. 19... What was it? 1973 it was finished. Interesting. Oh, look at this. Oh, no. I think it should be Berlin. Oh, that was... This was the last 5 seconds. Das Brandenburger Tor. By the way, when was it built, actually? When was it built? You have been there? Year after Munich 72. OH? What is 72? After Munich 72 OH? OH. Olympic Games. Oh, this is something good to remember. No, I'm sorry, because I'm realizing that I'm not very aware with all the abbreviations used in chats. So I'm prefer to ask before I'm thinking something wrong. So thank you very much that you are answering this. So the Munich Olympic Games were in 72, and 73 the Sydney thing was the Sydney Opera was opened. Wow, the Brandenburger Gate is an 18th century neoclassical monument. I didn't know that it is so old, actually. It was construction started in 1788 and completed in 1791. Wow. So they built 3 years this thing. Okay. What is going on? What is going on here? Let's start first. Dreven Road. Brandenburger Tor is a very nice piece. Pity that Berlin do not have more and they were destroyed. Yeah, well, actually, the whole Berlin was destroyed, right? As many parts of Germany. And yes, it's an interesting piece of architecture as well, right? And I like the lightning. That's cool. What was it built for, actually? I mean, what was the main idea behind it? But let's take a look first. Dan, hello there. I was writing and talking about you, worrying that you are sick because you have written something in the chat, in the Rise of Kingdom chat. And welcome, Dan. It's nice that you're here. We wished you already all the best wishes. All the best wishes. We wished you that you're getting better fast. So the trailer might not be done for today. Really? Yeah, man, it's still 4 days and you are having a tournament. And I want to take part in it, probably, if I'm gonna find the link one more time. Looking for a group? Yeah, Dan is writing very often his beloved word, which is almost like duck, but just almost. Even in different fonts, my friend. Oh, now it works. Great. Now it works. But don't forget, we are trying to stay family friendly. At least trying. Okay, wait. Alright, let's go on. I think the Brandenburger Tor we're going to know about the next time as well. And we're going to see it. So then, by the way, how are you feeling? You said you're not feeling good, but is it just because of the trailer is not ready, or you're just not feeling good? That's my question. And to everyone else, what do you think? One more round of famous places? Or is it enough for today with famous places? Do you like it? I think it's quite cool. But maybe it's enough of information for today. Okay, we have been at the Louvre, which was built in 1793. Or was opened in 1793. Alcatraz in 1972. Wait, 1972 it was transformed, and 1972 is when Sydney's opera was opened. 1973. So, very close as well, by the way. Dan writes, it is a family-friendly word. You can say, for example, I'm ducking love you, my friend. Yes, that's true. To show how much you like someone, that's true. No, you're not terrible, not at all. I mean, I'm not against those words, but I'm not using him very much myself, and I think it's cool if we can have even very young people here without teaching them bad things. Oh, Drevin is okay. You sent me the link. Awesome, very good. We are going to. Is there going to be the trailer then? Once it's ready, the trailer is going to be about the tournament, I assume, which is going to be on. I need to spam. Which is going to be on Sunday. There's going to be a Geoguessr tournament, and everyone could take place. I did not show the confusing thing you sent me because I did not know what it was, actually. I don't know, I think Dan makes some quizzes or something. Some things that you have to decipher, so like chiffers. Wait a second, maybe it's interesting to the people who are here. I'm going to send it in the chat, but I'm going to open it on stream as well. So let's take a look. Here is the link. I'm gonna open it as well. But I don't know what it is exactly about. I saw that it is something to do with... Look at this. So Lens Journal series, right? You're opening it. And then there's crazy stuff going on. So something like here, alien language. And we have to decipher it, right? Break the code. So if someone wants to do some riddles... isn't that writings by the Sumerians? I think it is. But this is not. Okay. Oops. Google Translator. 3025. And then writes he would appreciate some feedback to that. So everyone who's here, Drevin is just very hyped. I can see it. He's just loving it. It's a lore that I'm writing. A lore starting with the cryptic. It is AI generated image. It is just the beginning. Really, this is an AI generated image with Sumerian writings. That's interesting. It looks cool. I partnered with another lore group to join our universes, and their lore were very complicated, and I made long time ago. So it's gonna be fire. I think so. Actually, it looks very interesting, I have to say. Oh, look at this. There's someone trying to decode it with some code. By the way. So, can we see there are already people who were trying to solve that? Is that the way? Or is it something very new? On the first glance, it looks very interesting, I have to say. Even I would like to try to find the right answer, to decipher that. This looks a little bit like a Japanese sign, but it's not. Interesting. Like part 0 is normal language. You should check that one. Wait, parts... Oh right, I forgot. You have different ones. It is not a Earth language. Hi guys, sorry for weird activity on my... Ooh, scary stuff. Scary stuff is going on here. Okay, oh, this is a story. It's not like you are writing with someone and saying that strange thing is going on with you. Okay, let me read it then. Hi guys. Sorry for the weird activity on my account. I just woke up and don't remember nor don't understand almost any of this post's last thing I see clearly is some big flash in sky. I must have felt and hit something as things I remember are things that neither I or any human would believe. It starts already interesting. So everyone who wants to read it till the end, that's a cliffhanger. Should go to your link and check it out. Maybe you need people on that side, correct? Is that something you need? It's very interesting. Dan writes, I have followers interested in it, and it is. And it is. You need feedback. What about exactly? So is it more like how everything feels? How everything comes together? Like, do you need some feedback about how this looks, for example, as well? Or is it more about the, like... Like, click on my PFP, you will be able to see my stats. Is it not long, boring, or complicated? Now, I know that website looks like like not very good. It is just to be able to share easily. Oh, Wally writes, you're losing connection. Oh, wait a second, I have to check. But no drops on my side, so it appears like it is something on your side. I mean, then I have definitely go more deeper in this because oh now I understand. So actually it starts with part 0. I can already say it's maybe going to be a little bit problematic for people who are going to be totally new to that and don't know what it is about. Probably they are not going to go to the part 0 and will not understand what it is about. Draven, thanks you very much for giving feedback that the stream's up. Thank you. And also Dan. I earned like $8 on posting this, as people can collect the post to support me. So what would we have to do to collect it? We would have to have a login, I assume. And if you're going to get like it or something, then you get something for it. Is that the way how it works? But let me ask you something. Is the whole Lenster page, is it everything about something cryptic, something, or is it, or could it be about anything? Lenster is a decentralized and permissionless social media app, so it could be about everything on Lens protocol. And you're trying to do some interesting stuff, right? So you need to log in with your wallet, I think like cryptocurrency wallet, and collect by clicking the red thing. Then you get an NFT with an eye image and text. It's like Twitter. Okay. Okay, but the first site that we saw, this is something created by you, correct? So that we are getting to the right posts, correct? So this would be like simply the first post, and so to get their people there, right? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you should do maybe a little bit more on this side to give the understanding that maybe some people should start here on part 0. Maybe something like where the story begins or something. I don't know. Because maybe too many people are going to be confused about that. If they're totally new to Leinster and what is going on at all. Like, the problem is the post alpha and beta is where it begins. Yes, in a way it is, but let's think about that. Maybe even if you're just assuming it is a realistic story, it could be that you stumble about the story just because of this, right? So there's a guy who's suddenly writing, "Hey guys, sorry for the weird activity," and then they're getting interested in part A and B. So actually you could leave it like that, but maybe you should simply make part 0 in another color, for example. It's just another color. That would be already something interesting. So like, if they're here and don't understand anything, then there's a chance that they're going back and going there. Because this is something that I felt, I did not understand what it is about at all. Simply maybe another color would be already cool. Alright, but as I said, I mean, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot, but I think there are definitely people who would like that whole thing about trying to decipher it. Oh, I understand now. So here everything starts where you're already trying to decipher it yourself, maybe, and so on. It's interesting. It's very interesting, really. It is. That's very cool. I like it. I really do. Part 4.1. It's like a little story. Yeah. Man, Dan, you have great ideas. I like it. Dan is always nearby. That's very cool. Woke up at 5. Voices. Activity. None. Vision. None. That's cool. Real sleeping walking at 4:04 caught on camera. Maybe it would be cool if we would have here a picture of a person who's walking strangely in the night. Just thinking. Dan Bryce, appreciate all the feedback and help. Well, it's not much, I think, but just saying. A way to decide what happens next. Like, I let them vote. Should I drink the water or not? Very good. As it looked suspicious, they picked to drink, so I made them have hallucinations. Draven writes, I should like the start. If it said pick difficulty, easy, you start with part 0, hard, you start with part A. Somewhere like they're on part 0 if player wants to start with 0. Connecting the pieces should be then not so hard. No, I think, yeah, maybe this would be a possibility as well. I think, I don't know what your how you're planning to give this part to people, because I mean marketing is using also different things, right? Like you have different groups, target groups, and you're trying to reach different people. And for them it would be maybe exactly like Draven is saying. So there are some hardcore people who would prefer to simply have that and then saying, "Boy, that's somehow interesting. What is going on here?" Then there are already people for whom it is just too strange and they're not going to part 0 at all and trying to start to understand. And then there are people who think, what the wait, right? So maybe you should have even different versions, but later on. So exactly what Brevin is saying. So maybe trying even out different approaches and trying to see whom you're reaching with it. You can refresh the page. Oh, you are so fast. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I think that is already better, isn't it? I think that is very good. I think that is very good. That is already better. Yeah, Draven says as well, that's already better. Because now I maybe would already push the part 0, and then I would think, wait, what does he mean about the weird activity on my account? And then maybe I would even go back and think, oh, okay. Yeah, I think that is better already. Together we make it better. This is what it's about, right? If you have problems, I'm not just saying it by accident. Whatever we are doing on stream, if there's something that we can do better together, then here we go. English starts here. I think this is too much, in a way. I mean, this takes away a little bit. Yeah, it takes out the magic, correctly. It takes out the magic a little bit. Yeah, Draven is saying that as well, yeah. But this is exactly something what we were talking about. For us, it's taking away the magic. But also, if you're thinking that there are maybe very young people or something, if you're trying to do that or marketing it as a game and not as a mystery, then this would be something good as well, right? So this is exactly what we were talking about, different targeting people. And maybe what maybe would be cool as well, maybe it shouldn't be called like part alpha beta or something, but maybe just dates of entry, because I mean it's like a journal, right? And you have just a date here and date there. You know what I mean? Maybe. I'm not sure about that as well. But I'm just thinking that then it would be even... What does mean KK? Okay, right? I think. But I'm not sure. This is just really discussing. Not that I'm saying it should be definitely like that. Oh, the date is not known yet. So this is something that is part of the mystery. Oh, this is very interesting. I see. You can play around a lot with the time thing. Wow, this is very deep. I like it that you are working on different levels. I like it. Don't tell us. Don't tell us. Maybe now I'm already hooked, right? Because then it's writing they're gonna be alien thing later, and that will clear a lot of stuff up. Like I'm waiting from images from the lore partners. I'm not telling you too much. You are. What means DW? DW, by the way. DW. Don't worry. Oh, don't worry. I should get aware to the abbreviations. That's what I'm asking. All right, but this is very cool. It's very cool. Definitely tell us more about that and about some upgrades that you may do, if you do. And also I'm going to take closer look. I'm not sure if we should take it. Is this a game? Yes, in a way it is a game. It is something that Dan has done. Yeah, as Dan is writing, not yet. But it can be. It is like a mystery game, like something that has the magic to find out more about. And Dan is doing that. Yes, Dan is creating this. This is very cool. Message in language. Today's vision was a little less foggy than the last one, but far more painful. I saw a city, a forest, and a mysterious blurred out creature that looked like it was searching for something or someone. I also saw a light source that terrified me, and the voices when I saw it. I also saw a light source that terrified me, and voices when I saw it. I'm thinking about the sentence building here. I have no idea what happened, but I'm certain that I need to delve into it and determine if it is a danger to me, or perhaps a way to finally return to normal by getting rid of the voices. Oh, Wally writes, I will try to sleep, have a good time. Maybe I will be back soon, who knows? You're already talking as if you are part of this journal. And yes, good night, Wally, and thank you very much that you've been with us. I wish you a beautiful night, sweet dreams, and till the next time. Good night, Wally. All right, so I think for now, please, Dan, if you're going to update something, tell us more about it. I think it's interesting. So when you are happy with that, so that we can dive deeper into it, would be cool. Could you also check Molin's NI images? Is it something you sent as well? But I'm not sure if we can take a look on that because of some possible license things. This is something that I have always to think about. It's not so easy sometimes, especially if you're in Germany. The danger is all around about licenses. So I'm gonna take a look on the pictures then. Oh, you own all the stuff there? The projects? Alright. And you allow officially, right, to watch them? But wait, I don't understand. They're not very pictures, are they? But there are people visible. I can't show people without their permission. So this is something we're going to show next time, maybe. It is decentralized. Yeah, well, even if it is decentralized, they still have a right to be shown or not shown. Therefore becomes public. Yeah. The next time. I'm gonna take a look on that tonight, and maybe I can give you already feedback personally. And the next time we can take a look on that on stream. Yep. All right, so Cool. Anyway, then, thank you very much. That is cool that you're involving us in this. It's very nice. Okay, friends, so let's do maybe already a few flags. Flag of the world. Then maybe a duel or two. Wait. And then so flags of the world. If someone wants to join, then here's the link, friends. Some flags of the world. We're trying to know more. Then writes, I could tell you that I could get you a lens profile, but sadly, I can't. I have 5 friends waiting for it. How's the process of getting a lens profile? Like the cost to buy aftermarket is $50. Oh, okay. So I want to get it free from the source to have a clear new account. But to get it from WL. Who's WL? Okay, friends. Is that Libya? Syria? With Damascus? With the 2 kisses? It's interesting that it's a so interesting name for Germans, maybe, because it sounds like kiss in German. Kuss. That's how I'm memorizing the capital of Syria. And it has 2 kisses. I think it is, right? Should be it. That should be it. Oh, the white list. So you want to get it from the white list. Okay, and we have been a little bit closer, but it was right. So the 2 stars were from Damascus. Damascus. Okay, here we go. Africa. Africa. It is not Burundi. It is not Kenya. We can go on for like that for long, right? Is that Ethiopia? No, right? Or is it Rwanda? I think it's maybe Rwanda. Man, I can't remember the flags of Rwanda and Ethiopia though at the moment. I know that somewhere Circlic is in Ethiopia. Does someone know that, friends? The flag? But then, by the way, you still did not answer. How is your health? Do you feel okay? Or just... or are you better already? Pirates. Yeah, those are pirates. What? This is the flag of pirates? The flag of pirates? Oh, you feel bad. Okay. I thought you just feel bad because the teaser is still not ready. The trailer. All right, so you're lying around close to the PC. That's very good. All right, but don't work too much. Maybe sometimes it's better to get more rest and get faster well again. Oh, then, okay, let's say it is Rwanda. It was Burundi. Are you kidding? Wait, what? Don't tell me I... Oh, I did. I messed up Rwanda with Burundi, because I know that one of the flags is very like the Kazakh flag, and it is the Rwandan flag, which is like, really? I'm surprised a little bit at the moment. Okay, this is Rwanda. Yeah, this is the flag which does looks a little bit like Kazakhstan, like the Kazakh flag. Right? I mean, it has a little bit some. I think those are the only flags which has a mixture of yellow and this light blue. Oh, look at this. Draven was writing, by the way. I did not see the message. Flag of Burundi, twin to Rwanda. So Burundi is the twin of Rwanda. And the funny thing is, I was thinking, I mean, Burundi is like circle, and I remember that I memorized something with the circle for the flag, but I thought, no, Burundi is definitely the flag which is like Kazakhstan. But it's not. But it's not. Bujumbura? Wait, what? I thought the capital of Burundi is Gitega. What? Capital. Monaco next? Maybe. Dan has written, yeah, it's better to rest, but I need to keep being nearby. That's true. Or they will start doing dance far away again. Oh, you have such a... Wait, Kitika is the capital of Burundi. But why are they showing us Bujumbura like it is the capital of something? What is this? Why is that? Is it like a city-state in itself? I don't think so, right? What is going on with Bujumbura there? Bujumbura. Okay, wait. Let's find out more about Burundi. The official Republic of Burundi. It is bordered by... Oh, they have two capital cities. It is Gitega and Bujumbura. The latter being the country's largest cities. So they have simply two capitals. Okay. So Burundi is one of the countries which have more than one capital, as for example South Africa as well. It has 3 capitals. Yes, this place was in Bujumbura, and as we know now, it is really one of the capitals. Good to know, right? I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I am next round and need help. You are already next round. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, that is Monaco. I think so. Yeah, this should be Monaco. Monaco. This is quite sure Monaco. I mean, the other possibilities with similar flags is Poland, right? But it's not, I mean, the same colors than Indonesia, right? Those are the 3 which are very similar. Is there another one? I thought there's another one. Ducking wind? What are you talking about? Think about the wind. So is it not Monaco? Is it not Monaco? Think about the wind. Oh wait, which way does it? Oh, maybe it's not Monaco. But wait. I mean, what else could it be? I mean, that is not Malaysia, right? Is there another country which has very similar flags? What is this there in the corner? It is Malta? It is Malta. Yeah, that is the other one what I was thinking about. Malta. Oh, that is bad. That is bad. Sorry, Dan. I thought it is Monaco. Wait, how exactly does the Malta flag look like? Oh man, it's just red and white. That was the thing. I mean, it's not even horizontally, right? Man, that was a bad thing. And Revan know that. The Maltesian cross. Yeah. Revan, you know that? You know that as it appears. I don't know why they have so many flags and white and red. I mean, what is that? What is that? What is going on here with the white and red? I mean, you have a country, like, right? And you're there thinking, oh no, whoa, it wasn't Malaysia. What was I thinking about? It's Indonesia. Yeah, Indonesian flags. Man, I was even wrong with the Indonesian thing. Okay, this is Monaco, and Indonesia is, I think, the most confusing, right? I mean, what is this? What is this? This is Monaco, this is Indonesia. Draven writes, Malta was in past one of the most known islands, I think, where Crusader lived some time. So especially Knights Hospitaller. Oh, like the Knights of the Malteser. Is it something like that? Oh, I forgot about the flag of Malta. Okay, let's try to memorize them. We have 4 quite similar flags. In a way. Maybe the first one who's everyone thinking about when he's seeing red and white is probably Poland. Poland has white and red. Horizontal. White and red. And Poland has in the south somewhere Turkey. So this is somehow how I'm trying to memorize the Poland flag. That it is white and red, like Turkey is in the south, and Turkey has a very red flag. They have a common name, and maybe Singapore? Wait, yeah, Singapore is also very... By the way, Singapore flag. It's also very close. I mean, what is going on with the red and white? Yeah, what is that? Let us do a new flag. I want to have it like Poland or Malta, but different, like this. I mean, the only difference between Monaco's flag, it is a square. It's really just a square. And the others are not a square. That is the biggest difference, I think. Yeah. Red and white common colors have strong meanings. Yes, that's true. I mean, red has a lot to do with fire, strength, blood. Alright. Yeah. Alright, so Poland is actually the only one who has white, at least. Up. But if we're going to see the flag as we have saw that here. I mean, it was just like this. I mean, this is actually almost Poland flag, right? Alright. It is like blue for Slavic countries. That's true. That's true. There's a lot of blue with Slavic countries. That's true. There you have a point, Trevin. I mean, it's not like there are endless colors in the world which people can see with their eyes, right? So some things have to repeat. Also with the green black in the Arabic Middle Eastern, right? The green, black, red is also very common. Is that Jordan? With Abu Amman. Wait, what was the capital? Basic colors plus combination, yes. Not common is orange, like Germany or Belgium. Yeah, if you are considering it like orange and not simply yellow in a way, right? Yeah. And not very common is also the flag of Nepal, which is just, I mean, that's a very cool flag, right? Boing. Like it is cutting through something. And that is why I'm remembering also the capital of it, Kathmandu, right? It's like cut through. Anyway, also I like the Bhutan flag, by the way. Bhutan flag. That's a very cool flag. That is a flag, how a flag should be, right? With dragon, everything is cool. They're the most happy people in the world. Don't forget about that. They know how it's done. You have to, first of all, you have to have a cool flag. That's how everything starts. All right. Oh, wait. What was the flag? What was this country? It was... I think it should be Jordan, and with the capital Amman. No. Yeah, Amman. Yeah. But I'm not sure. I'm very messing up the Jordan, Syria, Oman flag, I think, and Kuwait. Oh no. It was Libya? Yeah, that's what I'm messing up, as I said. Libya. Like, Falk. Oh man, yeah, Libya. And how was the Jordan flag? Ah. And it's just a star, not the moon. The moon is very unique actually. The white moon on the black. Man, that's bad. That was very bad. Libya has a new flag from 2011. Previous whole green. Really? From 2011? Libyan flag. Yeah. What was it like that? Seriously? Yeah. 1977, 2011. Just the green. Just the green flag. Gaddafi? Yeah, Gaddafi. Well, Gaddafi is very green. Then, first of all, thank you very much that you have been with us. And then, have a nice sleep. Rest as good as it is possible. So they are going to be nearby to us tomorrow again. And you're doing great things, Dan. That's awesome. You're doing really cool things. Thank you for letting us being part in that. Remember to register. Yep. I'm remembering that. Not forgetting about that. Alright. Man, I have to get better with the flags. Flags Again, repeat all the capitals. You know, I knew all the flags and all the capitals already. What is that going on? That is Romania, right? Or is it Hungary? No, it's Romania. Wait, is that the flag that we have to take a look on at all? Nope, it's not Romania. Oh man, now it's starting again. Again, wrong. I think I did not have any right flag today. What is going on? Is that the flag? Wait, red, white, green. Red, white, green. Wait, what? No, I was not thinking about Romania. I meant Bulgaria. Sorry. It is Bulgaria. Yeah. Romania has orange in it as well, actually, doesn't it? Or is it not really orange? That was wrong again, almost. Yeah, Romania, like, but I meant actually Bulgaria. I mean, that is, or is it just yellow? I mean, it depends in a way, right? But actually, by the way, the people in Germany are saying it's more like yellow. I mean, it's gold, not really orange, the flag color. If you see it on the picture, I mean, it's actually basically yellow, right? Romania have yellow, yeah. All right. Belgium have orange, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, wait, so, Bulgaria, we have it. Is it the last flag for the day? Oh, it was wrong. What? I'm again wrong. What is going on with me today? What? It was Tajikistan? Am I crazy? Oh, I did not see that. I did not know that. Wait, what? I'm not... Man, this is very bad. This is very bad. I think I'm gonna repeat all the flags tonight. That's what I'm going to do. I did not saw that there is the crown there. Drevin, you knew that. Be honest, you knew that I was totally wrong again. I was wrong 2 times. First I said it is Romania, though I meant Bulgaria, yes, but... Oh, Bulgaria has first white, green, red, yeah. But you are very good with the flags, by the way, my friend. You are very good. Oh man, white, green, red. Hungary has red, white, green, correct? So many flags. And just one dragon. Just one dragon. Yeah, red, white, green. Oh, so I was thinking about the Hungarian flag. Yeah, which is actually right, red, white, green. So this would be right. So I was 3 times wrong in one thing. Dragon writes, no, I'm not. A second geography. Sometimes I need to Google it. Yeah, as I said, I was a lot better. I had an app on my phone and I was just repeating all the flags and everything, but I haven't done that for a very long time. And you're forgetting everything just so fast. So basically, the Tajikistan flag I could swear that it was different, but I'm thinking probably about the Xbox Kyrgyzstan flag. Right? Yeah, I'm thinking about the Xbox Kyrgyzstan flag. I don't know why, but every time when I see the Kyrgyzstan flag, It looks for me as if that is an Xbox sign. I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't have to do anything with the colors and anything, but it is a very unique flag, right? Draven writes, flags are okay, but sometimes you can find on map embassies, and then the guess is going to be wrong country, right? Yeah, that's true. It might be a scam to know the flags. That's true. If you're talking just about Geoguessr itself, then it's definitely gonna be a scam. But I have to say, I'm not doing that flag thing to be better on Geoguessr. I just want to know the flags in a way. That is the thing. And I think if you're doing that sometimes in Geoguessr, then you are probably having more pictures and an understanding about the country in a way, a feeling. So this is in a way the idea behind it. But as you can see, I'm very bad at the moment. I'm very bad. I'm just very bad. That's a pity. But okay. One step after another. Getting better again. Okay. So, after the flags... After the very bad flag round... the flag round... Let's go to do some... What shall we do? If you want to get better in just Geoguessr, I would like actually to continue with just taking a look on parts where I struggled recognizing it. Those are tough flags? Yeah, well, I mean, in a way, every flag is an important or not important, but for people who are not living in the country, which the flag is about, right? But for some people, the flags mean a lot, so that's what I'm trying to know that, at least. So to be not so embarrassed about sometimes mixing up Indonesia with Poland or something. Something like that. Alright, I would like to go on our journey in South America. Because I still don't get the right feeling of how to distinguish Colombia, for example, from Venezuela, and so it would be cool if someone wants to join in or stay with us longer. Jaron asks, writes, but imagine they still mixing Slovakia with Slovenia on official ceremonies time to time. They do? Like the official people are mixing them up? Really? Yeah, I mean, they're very close to each other, the countries, at least, right? Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are going on in the world. And if you have at least 260 different flags just for the countries, and then for different parts in the country itself, there are quite a lot of flags out there in the world. It happens often, but it's not rare, really. Yeah, that is unfortunate. That's unfortunate, right? Okay, my friend. What do you think, Revan? I'm trying to remember now what we have learned so far about the plates. Sometimes they do help. At the moment, I'm not sure. So basically, I remember that Colombia is actually the only country in Southern Africa which has yellow plates. Southern America, did I say Africa? Which has this way of yellow, right? I think Suriname is not on Geoguessr or actually on the Google Maps at all. Yeah, Colombia has it right. Yeah. So this is actually the only thing that we are able to see very easily, right? Because this is not understandable. What is that? Is that black or blue? I mean, don't get it. But it's not Colombia. This is something that we can say, right? That is something that we can be sure about. But look at this. This is maybe really black. I mean, it could be like Argentina, or it could be this little country here, which name I'm always forgetting. Old Argentina plates are black. Also can be helpful. That's right. That's right. Totally true. That's exactly what I was thinking about right now. Wait, how is the name? It was Guyana. That's what I'm forgetting always. Guyana and Suriname. Wait, which of them is the black one? Is it... Wait, yellow is Suriname. Suriname or Suriname. I don't know exactly. Black is Guyana then. Or Guyana. I'm not sure. Yeah, now I'm confused of my all open things. Yeah, Suriname, as we can read, is yellow. So the one in the middle. And Guyana is very black. But they're both not on Geoguessr, I think. So it was Argentina. Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires. So probably we have seen old Argentine flags. Plates. Okay, focus, Robert. You have to focus. Okay, but the new ones are actually looking exactly like Uruguay. I think if they're blurred, we can't distinguish them at all. And also the new Brazil ones, right? As it appears. You can distinguish them because of the 3 parts, maybe. This is just 2 parts, like 2 parts, 1 part letters, 1 part numbers. They are longer. Okay. But this could be difficult to find the differences, right? I think it could be difficult if it is just very blurry. Colombia, Ecuador are shorter. Colombia and Ecuador are shorter. Colombia. Oh wait, Colombia is yellow. I mean, that is obvious, right? Ecuador is just white. Without any blue. Maybe could be helpful. Yes, but short. Okay. That's true. The shortness, yes. This could be something helpful indeed. Okay, if I remember right, there's also something specific about the yellow middle lines, correct? But I can't remember exactly where they were. Is it Brazil and another country? Depends, right? As I remember, Brazil has that sometimes, but also another country. I think Acentu. I'm not going to read the first one because it's a bad word in other languages, some Slavic languages. Acentuada. But actually, I think it means like it is a curve. I'm still not very sure about the languages. I'm not very good in distinguishing at the moment, though I'm learning Portuguese a little bit. I'm learning a little bit Portuguese. I think South America do not care so much on color lines as other countries. They might use more colors on the mid lane. Yeah, probably true. Probably true. So you're basically saying that there are not so many metas in South Africa as I wish there would be. But there's also a map for this. A map for different road colors? Is there? If there is, I think I would like to do it. I think this is Brazil though. I mean, just if by looking on the street. They are, but you need to learn combinations for each country. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to focus on that and then there are going to be just specific things about the roads, then maybe with time we are going to learn that. Learning by doing, in a way. Well, I don't know. Not that bad, actually. I knew it. I knew that we're there. Exactly there. Almost right away. And Draven writes, it is not easy, like Norway, for example, where we have yellow mid lane and specific edge lane. Yellow middle lane. That's something I should remember as well. Memorize. And you can guess it in a second almost. Yellow mid lane and specific edge lanes. Hello there, beautiful flag. The funny thing is, that I'm always forgetting how the Chile flag looks. Because it is so similar to another flag, which I'm always forgetting as well. Okay, I really have to be more focused on the things. But I think we should be somewhere close to Buenos Aires, probably, correct? Draven, it appears to me like you're very good, actually, in Geoguessr. Oh, we are somewhere in the north. It was Salta. Okay. Salta. It was Salta. So are you basically a pro gamer and thinking like, that is funny to watch something who is very bad? Rem writes, no, I just saw a few videos and learned some easy stuffs. Okay. But you have learned already quite a lot. Quite a lot. South. We are quite much in the south. Wait, what? No. This can't be true. We are actually... Wait, what? No, I'm confused. We are in the north? What? What could it be? Okay, I'm just... Maybe it's not the day for Geoguessr today for me. It started quite well, but... Parqueduero Privalo. Is it really? Maybe Mexico? Is that why we're on the north equator? But we are in South Africa, shouldn't we? Yeah, we should be in South Africa. America. Man, now I'm totally getting confused. Okay, strange. But it looks like here's quite a lot of money here. I mean, it's even HP with this. The place. Sun can mislead sometimes. Yeah, but how can it be that the sun is in the south? I mean, this is possible because if it is really high, and we are not exactly staying like the winkle. Yeah, the angle is maybe wrong, and then it is not exactly in the south. But we are quite close to the equator then, probably. But still, I don't know what it is. Though, it should be Colombia, right? So that's why we're probably also quite close to the equator. Or maybe even about the equator. That's why, right? Yeah. So actually we were right. Actually we were right. We were about the equator, but that's how far it was. I mean, the yellow signs there, plates, were very helpful on the car plates. Okay, and how are people solving such things? They just know, probably. They just know. Okay, we are... We are in the south. Quite far. Now we are quite far in the south, definitely. At least far more than Colombia. And all of those parts. Also not Venezuela. But I'm not sure where such roads. They saw it many times. They know exactly the exact color of the ground. Road specifics, vegetation, looking on mountains, or there's sand. Yeah, there's sand. I would say it is somewhere Bolivia or something. But let's just check it out. Ooh, it was a lot more in the south. It was Argentina. What is this place? What is this place? Yeah, it was the road number 6, obviously. Look at this, this beautiful road. Just going. Okay. Difficult. I think this, for me, was quite difficult. I'm surprised that there is such a desert so close to the ocean, basically. I mean, there's no sign that there's somewhere close an ocean. They know regions well, but also they sometimes guess wrong, so it's not 100% always, yeah. They do mistakes, yeah, that's true. Everyone is doing mistakes. Alright. Okay, that was... Let's do another more faster round, because I think I actually should do simply more rounds. Just trying to get the feeling, more or less. Because I'm thinking too much sometimes, maybe. Thinking and not memorizing it. That is probably the most problem. Sometimes it's better to just do more. Just do. That was pretty good. You think so? I think that was quite bad, actually. It was quite bad. But thank you for your kind words. Okay. Let's do a little bit more faster. Learning by mistakes. Being allowed to do mistakes is the best way to learn. I got the feeling. Okay? Okay. This part of Brazil is probably a lot more greener because we're almost here in the go country. Yeah, we are going to country after that right away. I would say could be somewhere around here. Okay. Okay. Red plates. What? Okay, it's not Colombia. It's not Colombia. Oh, I think about the trash cans. This is something very unique. But where was that? Is it in Argentina? Yeah, it is not. No, wait, it was in Chile. It was the very tip of Chile. Very interesting. Okay. Suspension. Okay, we're not in Colombia. That's all that I get from we are maybe in Venezuela actually, right? I think it's not Portuguese. So let's go with Venezuela. I'm not sure, but could be also Bolivia or something. Or Ecuador, yeah. Ecuador, do you know some specifics about Venezuela or Ecuador? How to distinguish them? I mean, how are the plates? The plates are basically... I mean, this is something that... I'm not sure that we can see that if it is so blurry. Maybe because of the height, because it's a lot more... South America for me is unknown territory. Yeah, for me as well. That's what I'm trying... Why I'm trying to get better here, because... Every time when we have been in South America, I just had no clue. I just really, it was for me, could be Brazilian or Ecuador, it's all the same. Okay, look at this. This is probably a hint, right? It is... It is quite short, maybe Peru. Maybe Peru or Bolivia or Ecuador. So I don't think that is something of this. It's not red, right? I mean, let's do that away. What is this? Oh, okay. Maybe it's Chile, right? I think it's Chile. I know that there's also a thing about the utilization things, but at the moment that's for me something like a book with seven keys, or how it's said. Yes, posts, it helps. Do you have a feeling of that, of those posts, what this could be? I'm thinking about Chile. I think it's Chile. And if it is, let's try to... I mean, it's a little bit specific. It's like 2 on one side, 1 on the right. It's maybe just here. I don't know how different they could be. Okay, and it was Ecuador. It was not Chile. It was Ecuador. Yeah, that was the other guess. And actually, we saw that there was something written on the north, on the upper side of the plate. Wait a second. First, I would like to go back to the plate. Look at this. I mean, actually, I saw that there was written something on the top of it, and it was probably exactly like Ecuador. And Ecuador has the specific poles noted, like 3 buttons on one separated. Yeah, it's strange, right? I don't know if it is something just specific for this region, though. This is something that we have to figure out. Or if all of Ecuador has this. But this is good to know. And also, at least as far as we can see here, it's...
LeGrol just subscribed.
No, seriously? LeGrol, thank you very much for your Prime, my friend. And am I right that you have been the person who has accomplished the Rise of Kingdoms yesterday? LeGrol, in any way, thank you so much. you are really supporting our channel in any way. Even just if you're here with us. Thank you very much, my friend. We are again on our Geoguessr tour, trying to distinguish especially the South Americans. But how about you, Lagrol? How are you feeling today? How is your day? Oh, look at this. Draven has beautiful, beautiful emojis there. I like them. You have a good day? Aww, that is awesome. That is awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. And thank you very much one more time, indeed. How do you feel today? Do you think we shall do some country streaks already? Though I would actually prefer to do a little bit more of the South American tour, because it is very helpful. One more thing maybe, right? What do you think, Lagrol? Can we find the differences between the South American countries? Everyone who would like to join, Lagrol, Draven, and everyone else who's just here with us, so listening, chilling, maybe you want to join. I am terrible in South America as well. I'm so terrible. And Draven says it's also not his usual territory, but exactly because of that, I want to improve here. I really want to do that. And that's why I'm trying. Yeah, we all are so terrible in it. That's exactly the thing. Okay, look at this. I'm noticing already something. Draven. Again, 2 left, 1 right. Maybe a hint, like the utilization poll. But we have now yellow middle signs. Though, as you said, maybe that is not so important in South America. Would be cool to find actually some cars again, because the plates are at least something that we know so far. Oh, ciao. This is Portuguese. I think that is Portuguese, so it has to be Brazil. Yeah, it is. Yeah, just try to focus on the difficult stuff if the domain is here. But look at this. So, we found out already that is Mexico counting as South America? No, as it appears, it's not. I mean, it is here in North America, basically. So, actually, we're just here. I'm not sure if Guatemala is going to be here, but definitely all the countries south of Panama, I would say. So, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Bolivia, Uruguay, Chile, and Argentina. These polls are a little bit different. Yes, agree. Totally agree to this. And look at this. Here are also those things in between. And if we're going back to those polls, they do look different. They do. Draven writes, looks a little tropical vegetation, so probably north of Brazil. Brazil. Probably, right? Tropical, it does. It is kind of tropical. Very much so. By the way, I think there's even... You can get some information about really the plants which are... which you can find. Because they're probably as well just on specific... Breitengrad. Don't remember the English word of latitude. Oh, look at this. Someone is playing with us. Kakanchamba. Welcome. Kakanchamba ZZ4. Welcome. Great that you're playing with us. But look at this. We were very good in this on the north. Oh, it's you, Kakan. Kagan Zabas. Zabas? Is it, or is it more like sh? Zabash? Zabash? Like roll. Awesome. Welcome. Khan Shabazz. Khan Shabazz. Khan Shabazz. That's a cool name. Khan Shabazz. Shabazz. More like that probably, right? Khan Shabazz. Awesome. Is it more better if I'm saying it like that? Khan Shabazz. Draven has written, it would be great if there was some text there and you can read about the vegetation. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That would be nice. I read it good? Alright, thanks. I hope, if I'm saying it wrong though, please tell me. I am preferring to say the names as nice as possible. So, Khan Shabazz. Let's go. Next one. South American tour. Where we all are so bad in. Oh. Different poles. Just a little one. Khan Shabazz. Khan Shabazz. Do you know him? Draven, do you know him? Or am I saying it wrong? That's what you said. Khan Shabazz. Khan Shabazz. Khan Shabazz. Alright, different pods. So maybe we're not in Brazil. We are not in Ecuador. Maybe. But just maybe. I mean, it is quite green. Do you see that? It's quite green. And there are cows. Black cows. There are cows. Black cows. Alright, let's go a little bit to south probably, because at the moment I have no idea where we are. Actually, it looks a little bit like Swiss or Austria. Yeah, it's very green, right? Very green. What is that? What is that? I mean, the pro gamers probably know it just by looking at this car. It's white. But that's not my level yet. It's not my level yet. No idea, friends. Draven, do you have any clues? Nah. Pro do not use car meta. Oh, they don't? Really? The pros do not use the car meta? Is it like it's under their level? Like they're... Really? Strange. I thought it is quite a... like, good hint always, right? I have no clue. I mean, it's very green, but... What if it is more in the south? And actually, it is quite far in the south. And I did not choose anything, and just... Yeah. It was actually there where I was looking. I thought about, is it maybe somewhere there? Because it's also a very green region. Interesting. I mean, this region basically looks like Austria, right? Swiss. So this is basically Swiss of South America. Puerto Montt. Okay, good to know. And maybe we have some meta about Chile and their utilization poles. So simply, One on the left, one on the right. And basically out of wood. At least those here. Oh no, they're not. It's probably concrete. Beton. Man, how it's called. Alright, so simple, very simple. Maybe this is a meta for Chile. And 2 buttons. Yeah. The 2 buttons on the top. Alright. Here we go. Oh, another Swiss. But I think we are probably in Brazil now again. Interestingly, again, 2 left, 1 right button, and 2 Benjamin buttons per line. And also double leveled. I mean, we could take a look on the sun, right? And the sun would tell us, go. Just go. Because it's not giving us a hint at all. It's probably... What is this? I mean, it's quite close to the equator, is it? But this is strange. Yeah, it is very much at the equator. That is the thing, probably. Right? So what is the card telling us? What is the card telling us? It is telling us that it has a white plate. And maybe 2 sections. So what do we know about plates? We know that Uruguay? What do you think? But I said it is maybe quite far in the north. Maybe to the equator, I mean. What if the plates of trucks are in a different color? So many questions. No answer. Yes, SOS, please. This is something I've never seen before. Such a SOS thing. It's too pretty for Uruguay, I would say. Maybe it's a hint. Maybe that is a hint. I mean, and it looks in any way that the road is quite young, so like fresh. And there again, the black cows. And some palms, so it should be somewhere in the north. If it is somewhere in the north, I mean, maybe it is simply Brazil, but I don't think that it is such a rich... Maybe it's Venezuela. What if it is Venezuela? But how does the Venezuelan plates look like? They have this funny rainbow usually, or should have. Not helpful at the moment. It was Colombia. So that is exactly what I thought what may happen. Venezuela is not often Geo. It is not. It appears like it is not. Because it was Colombia. Okay. Colombia should have those plates, yellow. But as I said, I think the trucks have always different things. First thing, and maybe it was not an Colombian truck. So maybe it wasn't a truck from Ecuador. Could it be? Yeah. Truck could be from a different state. Exactly. I don't know how much this is happening there, because I don't know if it's something like Europe, where the cars can basically go through without much pain. Okay, it was interesting, but we have been at least on the right feeling about the equator and something. But the sun is not always shining. Sun is not always shining. What is this? What are those flags here? What is this? What is going on here? I mean, there's even a European flag. Oh no, it's not European. Is it Venezuela? No, wait, what? We have been with flags today. I have enough of flags. I mean, it cannot be Colombia because Colombia doesn't have anything in the middle. Right? So is it Ecuador then? If it is, maybe... Wait, is that a flag? At all? The right flag? Man, I think I'm getting to the point when I'm going to hate all the flags. Because I'm just so good. Every time worse and worse. That's what I feel about that. Getting just worse with the flags. Yeah, I mean, this should be Ecuador. It should be the Ecuadorian flag, I think. Colombia do not have anything in the middle. Yeah, exactly. And Venezuela has the stars. The 6 or 7 or 8 stars. Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking about Ecuador. Did I say something else before? Okay, but let us still, regardless of the flag now, and that we are probably in Ecuador, right? I mean, this is quite an impressive place by itself. It's quite impressive here. I mean, the buildings and the way they're built, it's quite nice. Also white plates, but taxis have I think some different plates as well, by the way. Sometimes I think this would be even more difficult to understand it. Seguridad presidencial. Really? It's like the security of the president of Ecuador? Could be. Could be, right? But it's not. It was Bolivia? Are you kidding? Am I crazy? Was it maybe something like an embassy? Oh. Wait, what? I hate flags, friends. That's what I say. No, it was really, it's just it was simply the Bolivian flag. I mean, it's red, green, and with the bird in the middle. Wait, why did I push Colombia? I wanted to Ecuador. They do have the same bird on the emblem. What is going on with that? Man, that is really bad. That's what I'm saying, that I should know the flags. I mean, seriously, why did I thought about the north at all? Okay, good to know. That is how the Bolivian flag looks like. And our friend, Lagrol, or Khan, knew. It was Santa Cruz, it was at least Bolivia. Well, that was bad. But Khan was good. Khan is with us. Okay. What is that? That is something specific as well. This is something that we have to recognize. And, to like in a way, right? It's simply, I mean, basically, it's just some on the stick, right? Some metal strings on a stick. Okay. We are quite far in the south. I would say so. I would say so. Not like, actually quite far actually. Yeah. Igreja da Paz. Don't tell me that it is a country here that is shown. What is that? Is that Uruguay maybe? IKEA built your own utility pole. Yeah, probably there is even an IKEA. Wherever we are, maybe there is an IKEA. Maybe that is Uruguay. What do you think, friends? But look at this, there are quite big mountains there. Are there other mountains, hilly and hills in Uruguay? I think we have been just once or 2 times before Uruguay. Ooh, that's like poems. Build your own utilization poles. Yeah, look at this. It's getting even better. It's now on the stone stick. But it does what it has to do, right? It gives some energy, some electricity that they have to need. Área militar. Entrada proibida. Entrada proibida. Uruguay is plain, no mountains. Entrada proibida. But it feels like it is Espanol, actually. I don't know, friends. I don't know. Chile. Wow, it was in the north. What is going on with my sun sensor? No, but seriously. That was, what is that? Wait, that is actually Brazil. It is Brazil, right on the frontier to Guyana. Entrance prohibited, yeah. That was Brazil, seriously. But wait, what is going on with my south-north feeling? I mean, oh, is maybe Geoguessr sometimes making strange things? No, it's probably just me, right? Yeah, I mean, if I'm taking a look now on this compass, which you should be able to see, I mean, it doesn't look like it is very far in the south. I don't know. Strange. It's strange. Alright, friends, that was it. And it was very bad. I was very bad. South America. It is near the equator, yeah. Exactly. And I thought it is more in the south. That's why I was surprised. Okay. Strange. So what do you think, friends? One tried to break the streak, and then it was it for today, I think. So let's do one streak. Right? Country streak. Okay. Yeah. Wait, where are the country streaks? There they are. Country streaks. Here we go. If someone would like to join. Don't hesitate and click on the link. And start the game. Okay. But actually it was very good to do just parts of the world. I get the feeling like it is very useful to be just in one part first and then on other parts, so that there are not so many different possibilities, right? What? I would never thought that it has something to do with China. But it has. Is that close to Hong Kong or something? I mean, usually there's not much about China on. What is this place? I can see there's some Arabic. What? This is not China. What is this? Leng Kongkan Inda Yohor Bahru. Is that on our Earth at all? What is going on here? Is it something like a Chinatown somewhere, or? Could be just some Chinatown, yeah. Oh, you're thinking the same way. Wait, okay. But it is really everything Chinese here, right? Yeah, it is. I mean, what is going on? And we're driving on the left side as well. What is this place? What is this place? Scam? Kuala Lumpur. It's Singapore? What? No, wait, it's Malaysia? Or is it? What? I mean, could be Singapore as well, but how? China drive on right, by the way. It's Malaysia. It's simply Malaysia, but like a Chinatown thing? Or are they using usually so much of Chinese? I wasn't aware of that. I mean, look at this. It's basically... It was Singapore. No, it was not. It was just Malaysia. I'm very surprised. It's really Chinatown. Okay. But it's really just a very big part, right? This is why I was surprised about. Confusing. All right. Good to know. Now let's go. Bienvenidos a Viru, no te hagas fruto. This feels like South America. Here we are. Portugal? Seriously? You're saying right away that is Portugal? Because Spain used the instead of Okay, but it's definitely not something like Brazil or something. That is Portugal? This is how Portugal looks? Okay. Yeah, sure. Note, not state Portuguese. Oh, it's the language Portuguese, right? All right, now. Okay, not the country. Yeah, because I was thinking that's not Portugal, is it? So it's Portuguese. Yeah. It's Portuguese, not Portugal. Okay. But then it has to be Brazil, right? Basically. Wow, look at the mountains there. Is that snow on the mountains? Yeah, should be then easy. Actually, yes, but I'm happy first of all that I did not choose right away. Right away Portugal there and just saying then. But you told so. You said Portugal. Look, the drugs in Brazil appears like they're more often having as well. Or maybe, yes, it is from Colombia, but... Paye, 600 meter. Alright, let's go. Okay. Okay, it was Spanish. It was Spanish. And it was Peru. It was Peru. Interesting. So maybe it was not Spanish, but it was Peru. But I think... But this is Spanish. A este fundo, isn't it? Okay, good to know. And also yo soy something. It's I am something. Okay, but this is Portugal. Again with the yellowish things, but again, Brazil has that as well. Colombia as well. Okay, let's do another round. Let's do another round. I mean, South America is really not our thing. This is something we definitely can say. This is something else. Okay, here we go. One more round. It's all good, my friend. It's all good. I mean, we are in this together. We're in this together. We are in this together. Okay, let's go. New one. Poland. PL is that Poland? I think it was, right? The language appears to be indeed as well Polish, so yeah, Walbrzych Konradow, Polish. But let's take a security. Ulica Nicina Czasavnozdroj. I think still. Wait, but what year is that? Why are there zloty? I mean, it's not euro. And it is 2022. So, not Poland? What? Maybe it wasn't a PL, but what? But it is a PL. Am I crazy? Isn't it a PL? Wait, Poland doesn't have euro? Seriously? You're breaking my head at the moment. What is going on? Why am I not knowing those things more certain? You do not have euro, seriously. That is just amazingly surprising somehow. I thought they have. Zloty, man. Only Slovakia from Eastern Central Europe uses euro, really? Yeah, and Croatia soon, right? Or are they already? Is from this year or from last year? Do you know that maybe? Okay, Netherlands, right? No, maybe not. What is this? Are we in Israel? We are. I didn't know that. Wait, what? No, I'm confused. Czech crown, Hungary uses forint, and Poland zloty. Croatia is more Balkan, but yes, they use euro, I think now. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course they're Balkan, but it looks like it is in euro sign, but what the? I thought that this is going to be easily Netherlands, but I'm totally surprised about this. Isn't that Hebrew? I mean, this is Hebrew, right? Oh, from January 2023, literally in 1 month. Really? That's a good to know. And it is Hebrew. I didn't know that their plates are looking like Netherlands. Or are we maybe in a Netherland town? In Netherland town. Hebrew town? They have yellow plates, really. So Europe is more your part, right? Where you know. Yeah, this is very astonishing to me. It looks like really like a European sign. Your favorite continent. All right, good to know. That's good to know. Here we go. At least 2 streaks for the day. That is already a lot more than I thought that I'm going to be able to do in a way. All right, Canada or USA? People saying the best way to distinguish, just take a look for flags, either Canadian or or USA flags, right? But I think the plays should be helpful somehow as well. Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, it looks USA-like to me so far. But I was quite often wrong about USA, Canada as well. Wait, how can it be that the sun is in the north? Because we are in the south, correct? Yeah, correct. Looks tropical, yeah. So maybe Miami something? Malibu or something? Yeah. I mean, it's not Mexico, right? Or something, so it's definitely either you... Oh, do you think... Wait. Sometimes I am messing up Australia as well with... Wait, now I try to understand. Sun is in the north. So we are in Australia, right? We are on the southern continent. Southern hemisphere. And again, some Netherlands people. With yellowish. So are we in Australia then? They're driving on the left side. Mothering Heights? What? It's quite a strange thing. Yamits. Yeah, Australia or New Zealand. That's exactly what I'm trying to understand right now as well. It was South Africa. Oh. There's some days in the life of everyone where you get the feeling that you're getting just worse than everything that you're doing. Yeah, yellow plates, but they were at the beginning, they were white. They were white at the beginning. So they were just anything but helpful. And look at this, they should not have yellow plates. What is this? Not a single yellow plate here. I mean, in South Africa, on this so useful Geoguessr Reddit thing. Wow. But maybe the people have been from this or that place. Namibia or Zimbabwe. Botswana. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, Dreven, my friend. I think it's enough for today. Enough pain for today. But it was actually very great, my friend. Yeah, Dreven, thank you very much. So much that you've been with us. And also everyone else. I don't know if Khan is still with us. Or one of the other people. It was as usual a pleasure. A pleasure. And still, if everyone wants to try out, by the way, Rise of Kingdoms, you can type in ROK and get a link and helping our stream, supporting them with downloading the game and getting the City Hall on level 5. But in any case, friends, thank you so much for being with me and getting better together. Till tomorrow, probably. Bye-bye, and good night, friends. Or good day, depending on where you are.